34-11 is the final. Michigan gets dominated tonight, Sam, in the college football playoff semifinal matchup against Georgia. You know, all the hype was about this being what a national championship game could be, and it turned into being a rout. A lot of lessons learned tonight. First off, what's your instant reaction from this result?
Yeah, first of all, you give credit to Georgia. Georgia came out and dominated this game from the first series. You know, they proved the SEC narrative true tonight. You know, they say the SEC is a cut above, and this game for this year and Michigan in this contest, that was absolutely true. Very first series, they go right down the field, and Michigan doesn't stop them at all in the first half. You give them a lot of credit for the great job of scouting that they did, because I thought formation and trading, I mean, they came out in a bunch and they traded the bunch, and Michigan had problems getting lined up. Definitely, you saw Brock Bowers basically wide open in the corner, and that was an issue all game long. They kept the chains moving. They had got good running game, nice RPO game plan that Stetson Bennett really executed well, and they played well. I mean, they had a great plan and they executed, and Michigan could never get into their plan. Right. I mean, you know, this was a game where the offense was going to have to trade, because defensively they could never get on track. They could not stop them. And again, I will give, from coaching staff on to player execution, give them a ton of credit, because Michigan is, for as good a season as they've had defensively, and it's been an outstanding season, right, for Michigan offensively and defensively, especially compared to last year defensively. But one of the issues that we've seen for them this year be persistent is formations, bunch. When they trade the bunch and trade tight ends and getting lined up, that was an issue that Georgia exploited in a huge way. And that was the issue early on, where Michigan getting lined up and being out of position and knowing who they had. And then once they got them off balance, then they just started running by guys in the secondary. And once they got a really significant lead, you know, this was not an offense that was going to play from that far behind.
I think one of the narratives just being down here in Miami all week, they mentioned Kirby Smart saying that, hey, this team, you know, needed that wake-up call against Alabama. Well, you got it tonight. I think the game in the trenches, Georgia dominated on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage. Michigan had no push in the run game, had no push in the defensive side of the ball, getting pressure on Spencer Bennett. He was able to really do what he wanted to do, and he was making quick throws, and that way they weren't able to get pressure on him. And really, Georgia, you can say what you want. Georgia did whatever they wanted to do tonight.
They did, and that's, look, I think Michigan could play their best game, and you still favor Georgia in this contest. So I don't want to make it sound like Michigan played poorly and that's why Georgia won. Georgia was the better team. I don't think that they're 30 points better. I think that Michigan could have played a better game than they played tonight. But one of the issues, they got off track, they got off schedule, and with the way that this offense is comprised this year, they aren't going to be a high-powered, high-octane, quick-strike offense. And so in this contest, especially when it started to be a pure passing game, and you saw them eventually have to go to this in the second half. I mean, and Harbaugh said it after the game. Yep. Escapability. You needed to be elusive in the pocket. You need to extend plays, and that's why they made the change to JJ, because they needed some more of that. And that was really the only way in this game. That was really the only way that they were going to be able to make any hay offensively.
Plus, when you have opportunities to score, you can't turn the ball over. Uncharacteristically, Cade had a couple interceptions tonight. Blake had the fumble. Just everything that they needed to go right. They didn't have to play necessarily perfect, but they couldn't play like that. And it really just sort of started the snowball effect, and Georgia just sort of coasted in the second half.
Yeah, so let's, again, to put it in a nutshell, a total team loss.
Absolutely.
Total team loss, players and coaches. Because, like I said, you start out, you look at the scouting job that the Georgia staff did, identifying the vulnerabilities in Michigan's defense. Again, get them misaligned, get them guessing on who they have to cover, and then exacerbate that by throwing in some tempo and really kind of throw them off kilter. And once you get them leaning, now you hit them with some haymakers, and they just start running by them in the secondary. And it felt like shades of last year when that started happening. And so now you look ahead. Now you look ahead. Yeah, so what this game shows me, and you tell me what you think. It was an outstanding season. They won the Big Ten championship. They beat Ohio State. There's still another level to get to.
Absolutely.
That's what this game shows.
So that's going to segue my next question, Sam, because I think Michigan was playing with house money in this matchup. They've already won the Big Ten, like you said. They beat Ohio State. The big goals, they accomplished it. I've never seen Harbaugh actually talk so much after a loss. Generally, the guy's a little mute. He was actually giving thorough responses because he knows what kind of season they just had. They came from nowhere to winning the Big Ten. Now you look at it. Who are the guys that stuck around the field post-game? There was 5 players that stuck out to me. J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Andrell Anthony, and Mike Morris all stuck around to watch Georgia celebrate. That's your foundation for the future. And those are the type of players that they're going to need to win this game. And I think that sort of resonated with what they have for the building blocks, and they're going to need those guys to lead in the future to win big games like this.
Yeah, it's a key point because that's what you're talking about now. You're recognizing what you accomplished. They were a team on the precipice, a program on the precipice. I mean, Harbaugh was very close to being a new era of Michigan football.
Absolutely.
And then the staff, you change up 6 coaches. That was different. Who's coming back? You got some players to come back. So this was a team that was wrought with uncertainty, that rode all of that uncertainty into a Big Ten championship. That is to be commended. That is to be celebrated. Now, you don't rest on your laurels. What do you do to get better? And that's what those young guys out here on the field. It's like, okay, remember what this feels like is what that's all about. So when you're grinding in the offseason, you keep grinding.
Right.
They are going to be a different team next year. Now, I said after the game, after giving Georgia credit, they won, they're the better team. Michigan had a great season. There's a lot to build upon. They returned a coaching staff intact. That is a huge deal. A coaching staff that, while, hey, look, not a great day for coaches or players today, but this was still a staff that accomplished a lot during the season. So to get all of them back and have some continuity, I think it's huge for them to be able to build on some things. And now identifying what you are. They did a great job of identifying what they were this season. They got to do it again this offseason because it's not going to be the same team. Aiden Hutchinson's going to be gone. Dave Ajabo probably going to be gone. Dax Hill probably going to be gone.
Absolutely.
You got to reestablish who you are defensively. And I think what that means is in the interim, your offense is going to have to carry more of the load. Your offense is going to have to be more explosive. How do you get there? They got to have a wide open quarterback competition. Got to be a wide open quarterback competition. And who is going to put you in position to really be able to put points on the board in a more of a high octane way than you were last year? Maybe that's Cade McNamara again, but they need to open it up to see if it's J.J. McCarthy. And if it is, go with it.
Well, we're going to see if J.J. can take that freshman to sophomore step, and we're going to see if a lot of those freshmen this year can take that next step, but definitely have the building blocks for another run at this next year. It's been a pleasure, Sam, as always, and this was our best season yet. Let's do it again next year.
Absolutely.